participation in this debate, and it's a special topic about the university's role in qualifying graduates for the digital age. I will share the slides because I'll be the speaker, and Ivan already introduced me to the participants, so I will go directly to the presentation once I go to the sharing of the slides. As I said, my presentation will be titled "The University's Role in Qualifying Graduates for the Digital Age." Usually, I don't start the presentation with the questions, but here I did on purpose because I have two questions in mind. Will our education system remain as it is after the pandemic and after the last experience? And the second one, is our education system losing relevance? I hope that I will highlight quickly those issues, even though it needs a lot of time and it needs maybe some training courses. But everybody knows that the world is changing very fast, and many jobs which exist today will be automated and run by artificial intelligence. There are some advantages. The artificial intelligence will lift the productivity, will improve the economic growth, but at the same time, a lot of people, maybe millions of people, have either to switch their occupations or upgrade their skills. And there are a lot of statistics, studies, report explaining and talking about this issue. I will mention a few of them. According to McKinsey Global, almost half of all workplaces activities could be automated in the future. And when I say in the future, we are talking about 2030, which is 9 years from now. So it's not a very far away future. According to the World Economic Forum, the last one, 65% of the children entering the primary schools today will be employed in jobs that do not yet exist. That's why here in the UK, we are very alerted about this issue. And there are some reports says that UK universities are not even creating enough workers for the future. And you know, when we talk about UK, we talk about number one and one of the top educational and higher education system in the world. So you can imagine, what about the developed countries? What about other parts of the world? According to Pearson report on employment, they predict that in 2030, we will need more skills. And we need the skills in judgment, decision-making, analysis, and evaluation of systems, and as an example. And they predict if our systems stay as is, we will have deficit in the UK, could be 600,000. And if we don't work fast, it might be more than 1.2 million workers in the what we call 21st century skills. So how can the educators prepare the skills for the job market, the future job market, and involve their graduates in the 21st century skills? Definitely, we will need a solid strategic planning, which involves the faculty, the staff, and the student. Now, some people will ask, what skills Dr. Rami Al-Hadeethi is talking about? We're talking about the three main categories, and there are some subcategories. The three main categories, the learning skills, which we call the 4 C's, and it teaches the student about the mental process required to adapt and improve upon a modern work environment. And everybody knows how important this issue, according to the fast rhythm of changing in the new millennium. The second one is the literacy skills, which focuses on how a student can discern facts, publishing outlets, and the technology behind them. Because we are those days in a flood of information, and we have to teach our students where is the facts, where is the trustworthy publishing outlets, and what the technology behind such information. And the third one are the life skills, which take a look at the intangible elements of a student's everyday life. These intangibles focuses on both personal and professional qualities. And in total, it will be 12 skills, as you can see from the figure and from the table. The learning skills, the 4 C's, we are talking about the critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. And the literacy skills, the IMT, we're talking about information literacy, media literacy, and technology literacy. And the life skills, the flips, we're talking about flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, social skills. The first category, the learning skills, are the minimum requirement for any educational system. And we consider it as the most popular one. Critical thinking teaches students how to find solutions to problems. And the creativity train them on how to think outside the box. And the collaboration teaches them how to work with others. And communication train them on how to communicate and to talk to others. And this is just a highlight, because talking about each skill will take hours to explain it in details. But here, my role is just to highlight such important skills we need in the near future, because our graduates, they will not have the teachers with them in their life. So we have to teach them these skills, and he have to adapt with the changing environment, have to communicate, have to be creative, and lead the innovation. The second skills, the literacy skills, the information literacy. The students need to understanding the facts, the figures, the statistics, and the data. And the media literacy also, understanding the methods and outlets in which information is published. And the technology literacy, understanding the machines that makes the information age possible, and it will make the digital age easy. And everybody knows during the pandemic, some people, they never heard about the Zoom, or maybe they heard about Zoom, for example, but they never use it. And nowadays, it's a very familiar application. People start talking about the Internet of Things, the artificial intelligence, the virtual reality, augmented reality, big data analysis, all these techniques and the technologies behind it. The last type of skills are the life skills, the flexibility, deviating from plans as needed, which is a real life issue we face in our practical life, maybe on daily basis. The leadership, everybody have to be leader from his position when he lead a group of people, and he have to motivate a team to accomplish a goal. Initiative starting a project, strategies, and the plans on one's own is very, very important, and maybe we find it by nature of just handful of people for reason or another. Productivity, maintaining efficiency in an age of complication and confusion is very, very important. And the social skill, meeting, networking with others for mutual benefit, marketing themselves is very, very important. As I said, this became a very, very important because we are not in the information age anymore. We are in the digital age and in the Industry 4, the fourth industrial revolution, which has been mentioned earlier by my colleagues. And also, in order not to be just theoretical, I wanted to show a very quick case study. We did a case study on Iraqi students, mainly in engineering and computer engineering and IT. And we compare them with the British engineering graduates to show the importance of such skills. And we need a criteria for that. So which criteria we used? We used criteria of VATAI, the Engineering Council here in UK. And VATAI model, as you can see, has a criterion to evaluate the graduates in 4 different domains. And there are some subdomains which will I not be able to explain in details because of the time limitation. But generally, domain A deals with the knowledge and intellectual abilities, domain B with the personal effectiveness, domain C with research, organization, and governance, and domain D with communication, influence, and impact. And by the way, this is an ongoing research between many universities here in UK with some sister universities in Iraq and with some students studying here from Iraq in the United Kingdom. And when we tested the students, the Iraqis are very good and better in domain A, because domain A relies on the knowledge and intellectual abilities. And because the system in Iraq, in Arabic countries, maybe in many other developing countries, focuses a lot on the knowledge and intellectual abilities and focuses a lot on the exam. The evaluation relies heavily on the exams, the quizzes, first exam, second exam, mid-exam, final exam, and so on. And it doesn't focus a lot on the skills, which is very, very required those days in the new millennium and in our new era. And the British students are much better in domain B, C, and D. The reason for that, generally speaking, is very obvious, because here we taught our students in the United Kingdom, since the schools, to be honest, not in the university, on the skills, a lot of skills. And in the university, we focus a lot on project-based learning. They have to do a lot of essays, a lot of small group discussion, role play, presentations, class participation, assignments and essays, portfolio, and so on. There are a lot of techniques which I do some training on it, rather than only focusing on the exams. The amazing things, when we trained those students, there are around 72 students here studying in UK, the Iraqi student, when we trained them on these skills, after 6 months of training, a lot of them, they became the top, and some of them outperform the British counterparts. That's why I'm focusing a lot on these skills. And people now in some part of the world is still talking about Industry 4 and the fourth industrial revolution. And some of them, they don't know that the expert said that we passed the middle of the fourth industrial revolution, and now experts and people who are interested in this subject are thinking about the Industry 4, which we call the personalization, how we will do a collaborative work between the robots and the human being, maybe in the working place, in the industry, in the service sector, and so on. So we need to work very fast because the 21st century skills are very, very essential those days. That's why I didn't call it an conclusion. I call it a keys for the future. And all these skills double back on one key focus on someone's ability to interact and or adapt to change. And everybody knows that the world has entered an era where nothing is guaranteed, and always the industry is interrupted with the new ideas and methodologies. Also, the customer demand is accelerating and changing. Customers now looking for high level of quality and capabilities with low prices. The competition is very, very high, and the job market will be changing completely within the next 10 years. So I urge the institution leaders and the academic institutions to change their curricula and involve the 21st century skills in order to support the graduates in the new job requirements and let them mastering these skills. And I will end with a quote which says that we have 20th century teachers educating 21st century student. We must improve the professional development, and we must focus on the CPD, continuous professional development of our academic staff. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'm glad to answer any questions if there are any. Thank you very much.